Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are watching me for the first time, my name is Histon John. Today I'll be sharing 10 business tips for 2024. Among the topics that we'll be discussing today are controlling your business, dealing with copycats, and protecting your secret recipe. As an entrepreneur, continuous innovation is a major key. You always find opportunities and ways to expand and innovate your business. I will now share with you some of the major highlights through my business journey. I started my business by opening up a grocery with the brand name Afre. It is important to have a good and consistent brand name. The brand name Afre became a major part of my business. I started my first restaurant. I operated it for a while and then I upgraded it and opened up another branch. After a period of time, I opened up another branch in a different state. Apart from growing my restaurant business, I ventured into another industry and I opened up a salon. I've also received several awards, and one of the major awards that I received is the Entrepreneur of the Year award. Through my experiences, I will now share with you my business tips to enable you have a successful 2024 in your business journey. To stay connected with me, subscribe now and continuously receive new content. Now let's get started. The 10 business tips that you have been waiting for. Tip number 1, controlling your business. What do I mean by controlling your business? As an entrepreneur that has been in the industry for quite a long time, I'm sharing my experiences with you, real life experiences. So you need to take control of your shop at all times and not your staff. Started my first restaurant. I never had that much of capital to start up my restaurant, so I did not invest in POS machine. I did not invest on a CCTV camera because I didn't have that much of fund when I started up. So when I'm out there running errands for my business and all that, my staff tend to manipulate my business. They cut some of my sales, so I have no POS machine to keep track and record of all the sales. I have no CCTV coverage to cover my shop, to monitor the activities going on in the shop. So this gave room to my workers, my staff, to manipulate my business, cut my sales, and it affected my business until I was able to rectify all this by investing in a good POS machine, which helped me. I can be able to track my sales, my inventory, my expenses, and by the end of the day, if I'm closing my account, everything has to tally. If it doesn't tally, the staff that handled the POS machine for the day has to answer the query and make sure everything tallies. And then if you're not there, you can access your shop remotely by having a CCTV coverage. This will help you to be able to access your shop remotely wherever you are, to see, oversees the affairs and the happenings in your shop. So if you see or notice some things that are not usual in your shop or wherever, you can be able to call your staffs and ask them what is going on, what is happening over the phone. It is good to invest in a good CCTV as a startup for your business or somebody that's been in the industry, and it's also good to invest in a good POS machine to monitor your sales, to track your records and all that. Tip number 2, protecting your secret recipe. When I mean secret recipe, I'm not referring to the franchise, the restaurant franchise secret recipe. When I mean every restaurant owner has a recipe, and those recipes are supposed to be secret recipes. With my years of experience in the industry as a restaurant owner and also an entrepreneur, what I've learned running a restaurant, you need to make sure you prepare your recipes at home and then bring it to the shop. If you expose your recipes are like your trademark, your patent, intellectual properties. So you need to make sure you preserve them and keep them secret. Prepare your recipes at home, bring them to the shop, and then let them be used in the shop. Don't prepare your recipes in the shop, no matter how competent and how loyal and how good your staffs are. Always make sure your recipes are prepared at home by yourself and bring them to the shop for usage. Staffs are not permanent, they are temporary. They can work for you for a period of time and decide to leave to open up their own business, or decide to go into a new business environment to look for a job. So they will take your recipes into their new place of work. By so doing, your sales will be divided, because you're not the only ones having those ideas or those recipes. Tip number 3, dealing with copycats. Dealing with copycats is one of the things you need to put into consideration when you're running a restaurant in an environment where there are other restaurants or people selling similar items like you. So this happened to me. I opened a restaurant in an environment where there are a few other restaurants, and we all have our target customers and all that. I was selling some different products that are fast selling, and I was maximizing so much of profit from those products because I was the only one monopolizing those products around that area. Nobody has access to those products. Nobody knows how to get those products or where I get them from. So I was the only one monopolizing those products in that environment, and I was making good sales from those products. I never knew my neighbor looking for a way to get information all about my business. So they were able to get in touch with some of my suppliers. The suppliers supplied the same product to them, and then they started selling the same product like me, and even reduced the price lesser than what I was selling. And they also have their own product that they're also selling, and then they added my own products and started selling my own products too. So this caused a bit of price war. So the way to overcome copycats in an environment or in your business environment is by continuous innovation, innovating, coming up with new menu every single day. You have a different menu. Never allow your neighbors to know your suppliers. Always set barriers between your suppliers and your business neighbors. Try as much as possible to make sure everything about your business is kept secret, from your suppliers to wherever place you get your product, from your recipes. Try to, as much as you can, to keep these things private, because when your neighbors in your business environment that are selling similar products and items like you get to find out that you have popular demand items that are best selling, and you're the only one monopolizing those products in that environment, they tend to sell similar products like you because they also want to maximize profit. And when they tend to sell those similar products, they will look for a way to get those products. Whoever that supplies it to you, or whatever places where you get those products from, they try to get those same product and even try to sell it cheaper. They even try to sell it cheaper than what you are selling it. By so doing, you end up losing most of your customers. So these are the things you need to put into consideration, and how to tackle things like that when you find out things like that. Come up with a new menu every day. Be innovative in your business. Try to come up with a signature dish on your menu that your neighbors can't copy. So these are ways to overcome copycats in an environment, in a business environment. Avoid being a victim of copycats in a business environment. Protect your intellectual properties. Tip number 4, business location. Business location is very important for a business. Getting a good location is ideal for business. It is one of the important parts of the business by targeting having a good segmentation, a good demography, because your location is one of the important parts of your business that you need to put into consideration before you get started. Your location determines the sales, determines your customers, determines a whole lot of things about your business. So while scouting or looking for a good outlet or a good location or area or place for your business, you need to make sure you avoid office environments. Office environment. Why did I say office environment? Office environments have limited working hours, which is 9 to 5. Only end up making sales from 9 to 5. After 5 p.m., there won't be customers in the environment anymore. In business, time is money. The longer hour you operate your shop, the more sales you intend to make. So if you're renting a shop in an office environment, these are factors you need to put into consideration before you commence. The longer hour you operate, the longer hour you pay your staff, the longer electricity bill you incur, and other utilities. While scouting for a business location for your business, I will advise you to avoid places where food trucks are allowed. The places where food trucks are allowed will always be a big challenge for you in your business, because those food trucks, they have no staff, they have no bills to pay, they are mobile, they can park their van anywhere and make their sales, and then also they sell cheaper than you do. You that are operating a shop, you have your bills to pay for, you have your so many bills, from your staff to your rent to utilities, and you need to make profit. So therefore, if you're operating a shop, always avoid places where there are food trucks, because if you do rent a shop where there are food trucks, it will be a bit challenging for you to function. The food trucks have to sell out their food before you can even start making sales. Food trucks can park their vans places where the customers can easily access them. But your shop can be situated inside a building or inside an office building, a bit far from the road. Your shop can be situated inside an outlet. So, but these food trucks can just park their vans anywhere and make their sales. And going into business this 2024, one of the major advice that, especially if you're running a restaurant, if you intend running a restaurant in this 2024, one of the major advice that you need to take into consideration is by avoiding places where food trucks are allowed. Tip number 5, plumbing and electrical issue. Plumbing and electrical defects are expensive to repair, and you wouldn't want to incur unnecessary and unplanned expenses, especially as a startup. So whenever you're looking out for an outlet, a good location for your business, I always have this in mind. Whenever you're searching for a good place for your business, make sure you double check the plumbing areas and the electrical areas in the shop. Ask questions, ask the owner questions or the agent that you're planning to get the outlet from. Ask them about the electrical and plumbing things in the shop. If there are defects, sometimes the owners won't tell you that there are defects in the plumbing and electrical side of the shop. They just want to rent the shop and get their money. And sometimes you wouldn't want to even pay attention to that area, because all you just want is a good location to operate your business and make your sales. But these are factors you need to put into consideration. Make sure you double check the plumbing and the electrical side of the shop. Ask the owner question, ask the agent questions. If those things are functioning properly, sometimes there will be defects, they won't even tell you. And then you rent the shop. After renting the shop, you start spending and making unnecessary expenses that you did not plan for, which will affect you as a new startup. So please make sure you double check all these things. Tip number 6, building a good relationship with your shop owner. Yes, it is very important. You might say, oh, I am not that friendly person, I like to keep to myself, I just need to just pay them their rent and then operate my business. Why do I need to build a relationship with my shop owner? Delay in rent is likely to happen as a new startup. Yes, let me repeat that again. Delay in rent is likely to happen as a new startup. For instance, you're renting a shop that your rental payment will commence on the 30th of every month. Just because you're a startup, and then sometimes there might be business challenges, and then you might not be able to meet up to pay your rent on the 30th of that particular month. You need to buy some more time to pay the rent. This happened a few times. Delay in rent, the owner has the right to terminate the contract. So therefore, when you have a good relationship with your owner, there will be considerations. They won't be able to go to an extent of terminating the contract with you and all that, because renting a new shop will cost you a whole lot of money to start looking for a new outlet, furnishing it and setting it up again to operate your business. Having a good relationship with your owner gives you leverage to approach your shop owner in times of business challenges that you can meet up to pay your rent. You can be able to buy more time, and for unforeseen events like what we experienced during the COVID period, I was able to approach my shop owner, and then I was able to reach a new agreement with him for a period of time. So I had my rental deduction to a certain amount, which was favorable for me and also favorable for the shop owner. That helped me to survive during the COVID pandemic. So I will advise you that are especially the startups, those of you that are venturing into business or that intend venturing into business this 2024, make sure you have a good relationship, a good rapport with your shop owner. Tip number 7, staff salary. As a startup in the industry, you have so much of bill to be paid for by the end of the month, which will result in delay in some other payments. With my years of experience in the industry as an entrepreneur, I will suggest you implement this strategy that I used, daily and weekly salary plan. When you put your workers, your staff on a daily and weekly salary plan, it will help you to reduce expenses and a whole number of bills to be paid for by the end of the month. And if you can put everybody on a daily payment plan, then you can put some on a daily payment plan, some of them you put them on a weekly payment plan, so that this will help you to reduce so much of expenses that you need to pay, so much of bills that you need to pay by the end of the month. Because by the end of the month, there are so many bills to be paid for. Let me break it down into particles for you to understand there are so many bills to be paid for as a startup or as somebody that is running a business. You need to pay your shop rental, you need to pay your utility bills. Let me break it down. You need to pay your electricity bill, you need to pay your water bill, you need to pay your internet bill, you need to pay your cable channel subscription bill, you need to pay your gas bill, you need to make some other expenses, you need to pay your workers, and you also need to maximize your own profits as a business owner. So these are a whole lot of bills piled up for you, waiting by the end of the month to be paid for. Can you be able to meet up with those things, those bills by the end of the month as a new startup? I don't think so. That is why I came up with this strategy that I'm sharing with you, that you should be able to implement it into your business or venturing into any business this year. Because as an entrepreneur, as the month is running over, we are always worried, wow, the month is running over, there are so many things to be paid for, I have to pay this, I have to pay that, I have to do a whole lot of payments. So me putting my staff on a daily and weekly salary plan helps me to have a bit relief, knowing fully well that I have less worry about my staff, that they will work and do their job. Tip number 8, think outside the box. As an entrepreneur, you need to always think outside the box by coming up with different strategies and different ways on how to run your business and how to make your business a successful one. So one of the strategies that I also applied as an entrepreneur and with my years of experience that I'm sharing with you is by cutting edge. Find a way to cut edge in your business. I started a hair care salon. When I started this hair care salon, I rented the space, I furnished it up with necessary equipment and the features and fitting for the business to function. And then I rented it out to a few stylists. These stylists operate the shop, and by the end of the month, they pay me a fixed certain amount, which is an ideal one for me, with less worry. I have less worrying about, oh, I started up a new business, I need to build my customer base for this business and all that. Zero worry, because I already reached a deal with my stylists. So we have a contract. Whether they make their sales or they don't make their sales, that is none of my business. My business is by the end of every month, they pay me a certain amount, fixed certain amount that we agreed for. So these are one of the ways you need to implement, think, create, come up with ways to cut edges in your business, innovate. Cutting edge is very, very important in your business. So there are so many other ways why you can actually cut edge in your business. So you have to think and create and innovate in your business journey as an entrepreneur. The more you stay in business, the more you grow in business, the more you have more experience. Tip number 9 is one-stop outlet. What do I mean by one-stop outlet? Setting up a grocery, you need to stock up your shop to make sure whenever your customers or your potential customers comes in, they can be able to get all the items that they need all in one place, instead of buying a few items from your shop and going to the next shop to buy a few other things. Try as much as you can to stock up your shop, so whenever they walk in, they can be able to buy a whole lot of things to make a particular dish, or all the recipes and ingredients that they need, instead of, so when they buy the dry products, they also buy the wet products, they also buy the proteins. It will be easier for the customers to walk into a shop and get everything that they need all in one place. And then it will also be lucrative for you as a business owner to maximize more profit. Instead of a customer buying one particular product, they will end up buying a few other things. You also make more profit. So it's a win-win situation for a business to engage in stocking up their shop, especially if you're running a grocery. Don't leave the shelves empty. Sell products that are popular in demand. As a startup running a grocery, I advise you to sell products that are popular in demand. Though the profit margin might be very low, but I will encourage you to sell products that are popular in demand, because it's one of the strategy of getting people into your shop in and out all the time. Examples of those products will be rechargeable cards, phone accessories, soft drinks. These are products that are fast selling. When you sell those popular in demand items, soft drinks, phone accessories, when the customers walk in to buy those things, if you have your shop stock up, they want to buy one thing, they'll end up buying a few other things. By so doing, you, the shop owner, you're maximizing a whole lot of profit and making it more easier for the customers to get all their wants and needs in one particular place. So that's it for tip number 9, one-stop outlet. So let's go to the final tip, which is tip number 10. Tip number 10 is product supply. Getting your products as a beginner, I will advise you to always look out for sales in the hypermarkets. That is one of the strategies that I applied when I started my grocery. Those of you that are in Malaysia will know this hypermarket called Maidin. Maidin, I always go to Maidin to buy a whole lot of things. Time to time, Maidin and other hypermarkets, they do have sales, 50% off, say 70% off, 80% off. Buy 2 products for the price of 1, buy 5 products for the price of 2, things like that. Those kind of sales and promotion always, time to time, goes on in those hypermarkets. Always look out for those hypermarkets. Look for their sales catalogs to know the things that are on promotion that you can be able to buy in bulk and stock up your shop. This is one of the strategies for beginners, for new startups in business. Always look out for sales online and offline. This will help you buying your products and stock up in large quantity, because setting up a grocery shop, especially your first product, your first stock up, requires a whole lot of capital to buy them in bulk and stock up. So, but when you apply this strategy that I'm sharing with you, that I used, you'll be able to get your products at a cheaper rates and buying in large quantity, and end up maximizing a whole lot of profit by the end of the day. With these 10 business tips that I've shared with you, if you apply them and implement them in your business this 2024, I guarantee you a successful business journey by the end of this year. Good luck and God bless.